Hi, and welcome back to ENTP Life. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you could live anywhere in the world for between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. Actually, in more than 75% of the world, you could achieve this for $1,500 or less. Don't believe me? I'm going to show you how. Here at ENTP Life, we mostly talk about real estate, business, and anything else that I'm interested in. And this video actually falls into that category of anything else. Now, if these are topics that interest you, please take the time out to hit that subscription button and like this video so that you can help to promote this video and other people in the world who are interested in living globally can see it. And if at any point you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, because there's other people who may be watching this video with the same exact question. And if you take the time out to actually put your question out there and I answer it, you're helping other people get their questions answered as well. Now, the idea to live globally was born from a trip that I took to Thailand. You see, as an American, I usually vacation in the Caribbean or in Mexico, and the prices are virtually the same, if not more expensive than in the United States. And you would talk to the hotel staff and get a sense of like what the wages are, and you'll hear that people are making $400, $500 a month. You're like, how in the world could they even live here if they're making $400 to $500 a month? The short answer is that the prices in the tourist zones are just inflated to reflect the foreign investment and the unusual supply and demand in that area. But when you get outside of those tourist zones, you start to really see what it costs to live in another country. It wasn't until I visited Thailand that I got to see this firsthand for myself. You see, in Thailand, there's no distinction between how the locals live and the tourist zones. For instance, if you go to Bangkok, everything is priced in the local fashion. For instance, you could get a pad thai with shrimp on the street in Bangkok for 60 baht. And what is 60 baht? That's like $1.50 in US terms, right? So a full lunch or dinner for $1.50. And that's anywhere you go within the city. It's not like the prices are going to fluctuate from region to region. This is how it is in Bangkok altogether. And in this trip, it got me thinking, well, what does it cost to live here? I started looking at the prices of apartments. I started looking at what it would cost if I went out to, a regular restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, the prices of nightclubs, the prices of drinks, and I calculated that I could live a pretty good lifestyle in Bangkok for less than $1,500 a month. And it's from this trip and that trip going forward that I started to look at traveling throughout the world in a whole different way. I started looking at it from the perspective of, is this a place that I would want to live? Is this a place that I could retire really young and enjoy my life? In doing so, I settled on the idea of moving to Colombia and living in Colombia while farming my money from the United States. See, I have businesses here in the US and they involve healthcare, real estate, and a few other hustles like my Airbnb hustle, and they allow me to earn money anywhere that I am in the world. And I really started to organize myself in this way to live this global lifestyle. Now, one key resource that I use when I'm starting to research a new area that I want to live in is nomadlist.com. Actually, I'm going to take you on over to my desktop and show you how to navigate that site and prove to you how much it really costs to live in some of these other cities. And after we come back from that Nomad List preview, I'm going to teach you some of the things that you can do to achieve that lifestyle for yourself. So you're going to learn exactly what you need to do to break free from that 9 to 5 and start living your global life. So when you arrive to nomadlist.com, the very first thing that you see is an overview of the top rated cities in what's most convenient for a digital nomad or least convenient, right? And they come up with a scoring system based on cost of living and the quality of the area, the fun factor, quality of the internet, etc. So here we have Buenos Aires as number 1, and it's showing that for just $994 that you could live here as a digital nomad. So if you take a closer look, it gives you what makes up the nomad score, right? So it's ultimately the cost of living, which is really good because it's super cheap to get by in Argentina. It gives you the quality of the internet, the fun factor, and safety. And I guess that's relative depending on where you come from. You might consider this to be moderately safe or very safe depending on how hostile the environment you were in when you grew up. Another thing is, if you're just taking a quick snapshot, they go over the weather, like what's the current weather, what it feels like now. And in the top right corner here, you see that average internet speed is 20 megabytes per second, which is pretty good. Now, if you take a quick glance at these first 12, you get to see that you could live in just about all of these locations for less than $3,000 a month, with the exception of Tokyo, right? Because Tokyo is an expensive city to live in. If you were to expand on what I said earlier about being able to live anywhere in the world, and Tokyo being one of the most expensive cities in the world, for just $5,000, you also see that this is possible here on this site. You just scroll through. Look at all the cities. Medellin, Colombia, where I want to live, $918 a month, right? Cost of living is very low. Barcelona, which is a world-class city, $3,100 a month. Istanbul, $1,300, and these are big cities where you're going to find all of the things that you need. It's not going to be like you're in the middle of nowhere. Lima, Peru, wonderful city to eat in, $1,100 a month. So what else does this site offer you? Well, let's take a look at Lisbon, right? If you click in, it gives you the overall score, right? And how they rank things. Hospitals suck, but it's a great city to walk in, so you don't need a car. If you want to see the cost of living and how they calculate that, once again, you have a snapshot. A beer on average costs $2.16. The nomad cost, that's if you're living alone and traveling, it even gives you a breakdown that the nomad cost is the typical cost for a digital nomad based on staying in short-term rentals like Airbnbs in a place or in a cheaper hotel. And that's going to be in the center of the city, eating out 3 times a day. Now, what is it for an expat, right? Now, this is for a longer term person, someone who's living there for a year or longer, where they're not living in short-term rentals, right? Because if you're living in an Airbnb or in a hotel, it's obviously a lot more expensive than living in an apartment, which they also give you the breakdown for, which the average apartment in the city center is $703. So that means that if you're an expat who decides to live there full term, you could get a 1-bedroom or studio apartment in the heart of the city for $700 a month, and then your other $700 would be spent on, food, cell phone, transportation, the basics that you need to survive. Now, if you're trying to live like a local, which is, living outside of the city, it would cost you $800. Now, for a family of 4, where you're living in the suburbs of the city, where you're commuting to work, you can do that for $2,800, which is still under that $3,000 a month mark that I'm trying to set you up for. Overall, you have to take a look at what the lifestyle is like in whatever city that you're planning on living in, and really calculate what is it going to be for you. But here's a great starting point for you to get an overview of exactly what I'm talking about, which is living globally. One of the things that you may be considering is, how do I deal with the languages? Now, if you haven't seen my previous video on how I learned a new language quickly, which was Portuguese, I learned how to get conversational Portuguese in just 90 days using the application Pimsleur. I'm going to insert a card right above. So if you have any fears about, well, how can I actually break free and live somewhere else but not know the native language, right? How am I going to go to Thailand? How could I survive there? Or how can I go to Argentina and live a life there if I don't speak Spanish? Well, if you want to just download Pimsleur, I have a link down below that you can download it, try it out, and you can see how quickly it is to start learning a language, so you can get rid of that fear. Now, most people are going to be concerned with, how do I pay for this? And that's what this section is going to cover. How do you actually organize and hack your life so that you can make the money that you need, that $3,000 to $5,000, so that you can live anywhere in the world? Now, I'm a firm believer of generating passive income through real estate investing. At the top of this video, I told you here on ENTP Life, we mostly talk about real estate, business, and anything else, right? So real estate investing is something that I think is fairly easy to do. I've been investing in real estate since 2006 and accumulating properties so that I can generate like passive cash flow so that I can live this lifestyle, right? Living anywhere that I want to. So the idea really is to go out there, get your hands on some real estate that you could rent for more than your mortgage payments and like your general maintenance. That is cash flow. That is that spread between how much you're putting out on the property versus how much you're collecting in rent, right? You could achieve this by getting a single family home, converting it into a 2-family home, or even getting a home that you subdivide and rent out on Airbnb depending on your market. I also have videos on how to start an Airbnb business. So if you're not interested in actually going out and investing in real estate, actually going out and getting a mortgage, which can be a little daunting and challenging for some people, you could use a rent-to-rent strategy to get control of real estate and make that spread. What do I mean by a rent-to-rent strategy? Well, One of my Airbnbs is in New York City, right? And I rented out a studio apartment for $2,300 a month, and I have that on Airbnb, and I get about anywhere from like $3,500 to $3,900 a month in total bookings. So if I'm paying $2,300 a month for my rent, and then I'm paying about another $200 for the incidentals, electricity, Wi-Fi, for my cleaning person to come by and help me out, I'm spending a few $100s there, I end up cash flowing around $900 a month on just one property. Now, what did I do to get that property started? It cost me around $7,500. That was my down payments, my initial furnishing, and that's how much you could expect to pay in New York City. So on that $7,500 spend, you're making $900 a month, right? Remember I said that you could live in a lot of these countries for $1,500 or so. So for just a $15,000 initial investment, you'd have $1,800 that you're making from Airbnb, managing your Airbnb from your computer, and you're gonna be able to live in a lot of these places. Obviously, you could do the math and scale your numbers up until you reach that 5,000 number so that you could live in New York, or you could live in Tokyo, or you could live in London and just not really have to struggle so much, right? So it's just a matter of knowing that these options exist for you. So real estate is definitely one of those things that I love, that allows you to generate passively very little oversight from anywhere in the world, collecting your rent online, and just being able to take that cash flow and live your life as freely as you want. Okay, so you're not interested in doing real estate, right? Let's just say you want to do something else. You need to start looking at what skill sets you have that you can monetize, or what skill sets that you can develop that you could monetize from a computer. Remember, most of the people who are living this nomad life are digital nomads, right? So they're making their money online, purely online, by doing these remote jobs or things that all you need is a computer to make some money. So let's list off a few of these things that you can do from anywhere in the world to generate money. Now, the first profession that comes to mind as far as being able to make your money digitally is trading stocks. Now, I've spent some time as a stock trader, and my goal was to make $1 per day on my share size. I only traded 3 hours a day from like 9:30 to 12 o'clock, and my goal was to make $1 trading stocks, right? So I would look for specific action within the stock market that you could learn how to do as well. And you're taking these trades where you're aiming to make 30 cents, 50 cents, or even $1 per trade. You're getting in, you're getting out, you're selling quickly. But if you're trading at 1,000 shares, for instance, and you made $1, then you're making $1,000 a day, right? Or if you're trading 2,000 shares and you made 50 cents, you made $1,000 for the day. And that's way more than you need to be a digital nomad. Now, to become a stock trader, you're gonna need, especially if you're gonna be pattern day trading, you're gonna need at least $30,000, right? There's $25,000 to establish a pattern day trading account, and then you're gonna wanna have about $5,000 of buffer money so that if you lose on your very first trade, you're not out of the day trading game, right? So you're gonna need some money to do that. Now, there's plenty of resources online that you could research so you could learn how to trade, but if that's something that you wanted to do, that's one of your options to get out. Another thing that you can do digitally is graphic design, video editing, and more of the creative arts that you can do from a computer. Now, if you don't have those skills, obviously it's gonna be a little challenging for you to whip up those skills and find those clients. But if you already do have those skills, it's just a matter of telling your clients that, hey, you know what? I live remotely, I'm still able to do file transfer with you and edit your work, or even finding new clients wherever you go to do exactly the same. I personally believe that this strategy works best if you're generating your income from the United States, because the wages are higher here and the fees that people are paying are higher. You being an American who speaks English, who understands American design, intelligence, and that sort of thing, you're gonna be able to still find clients in the United States who trust you, who are going to work with you and know what quality of work you're gonna put out. So if you already are a video editor, photo editor, or graphic designer, those are things that you can do remotely as well. Now, for all you guys who are techies, right, who can code, who can do that work, that software engineering or that web engineering, you could pick up and go anywhere, right? There's gonna be plenty of people who will still want your talent, paying you to generate code, to build their websites, wherever you are, right? And there's sites like Elance, Fiverr, that you can actually, any of those skills that I listed before, you could actually find work there. And I've worked with people, both foreign and domestic who have these skills, and there's times where, you know what, I would rather work with an American, even though it's gonna cost me more, because I know that they get like certain aspects of what I'm trying to achieve. And at other times I wanna work with foreigners. So you as an American could put yourself on these like outsourcing sites, and there are people who are going to be willing to pay you. And you can even adjust your rate based upon where you're living, right? So if you're someone who's usually billing $50 an hour for your web development skills, and you're American and you really know what you're doing, but you decided that, you know what, I'm living in Spain and it only costs me $2,000 a month here, I'm gonna charge $25 an hour, right? If you wanted to. And guess what? There's gonna be people who recognize your skill set, who know they're getting you at a bargain, and you're still able to pay for the lifestyle that you want, and you're still able to earn. So if you have these skills that you can do anywhere in the world, you should, put them to work and continue to earn using sites that allow you to do that. Now, if you're watching YouTube videos and if you watch any kind of business-related YouTube video, you always get hit with that. Well, learn how to dropship, learn how to, make a advertising empire, whatever, right? There's always going to be somebody selling you on some sort of program where you can make money from the comfort of your home, etc. Guess what? You could actually take one of those courses, learn some of the strategies, and start to, expand on that. See if it's something that you can do, right? Because there's people like me who do need help with posting ads for my home care agency, who need help posting ads for my office space company. That's another rent-to-rent strategy, right? I rented space similar to this, right, in New York City, and then I sub-rent out the larger space to other entrepreneurs. Right? They're paying me rent, and I collect that, once again, anywhere in the world, right? So all you need to do is get control of the property, and then there's gonna be a secondary market that you could rent to. But when you're looking at those courses that are teaching you how to make money online, how to make money from home, try them out, see what they have to offer, because you can sit there and grab that information and adjust it and fine-tune it into your lifestyle. You may be able to design a system where you're working with florists that you're helping to sell their flowers, right? Just by designing their ad campaigns. And if you do so effectively, they're gonna keep you as a client and you're just managing those ads. So there's a lot of things that you can do and a lot of things that you can learn online that will allow you to break from your office job or your traditional job where you have to be on location to working digitally and earning money passively. Since I do run a series on how to start a healthcare agency, I do have followers on this channel and subscribers on this channel who are healthcare workers, right? And I think being a healthcare worker provides you with, wonderful opportunities to do the same. See, when I was an X-ray tech right out of college, I was working weekends, evenings, and nights. There were some weekends where I worked 2 doubles on Saturdays and Sundays and 1 single shift on Friday, and I had my 40 hours for the week complete at one of my jobs. Now, if you're a nurse, X-ray tech, CAT scan technologist, respiratory therapist, all these positions that are in the hospitals, they have day shift, evening shift, night shift. They have the ability to work double time. What if you decided, you know what, I'm just gonna work 7 days a week. I'm gonna work doubles. I'm gonna have 2 or 3 jobs, right? And this is possible when you have healthcare jobs. You could have 2 jobs at competing hospitals in the same neighborhood. And you could say, hey, I'm gonna work 1 full-time job with one guy or one hospital, and I'm gonna work another full-time job with this hospital, and then I'm gonna work per diem on the weekends at another. And you could do that for 3 months or 6 months, depending on how much of a worker you are. Make double your pay, and then take the rest of the year off. Live anywhere you want. So let's just say you're making $70,000 a year as a nurse, working 1 job, right? Now, a lot of nurses work like these 13-hour shifts. So they are full-time by working 3 shifts in just 1 week. What if you got a job at another hospital, right? You know that as a nurse, you're in high demand. So you get a job at 2 hospitals, you work 3 days at each, you take 1 day off, now you're making $140,000 a year. If you did that for 5 months, how much would you make? Or 3 months, how much would you make, right? Working 2 full-time jobs, you'd be able to come close to your annual salary, and then bam, you're out of town. You're living the rest of your year somewhere else. And since you're in high demand, when it's time for you to come back, you work some per diems or you work some agency shifts, and there you go. You're always gonna have work, and you might even be able to choose to live in another city, right? So let's just say one year, the half of the year that you work in the United States, putting in that work, that double time, you're living in New York. The next time you live in Miami. The next time you live in Chicago or Phoenix or LA. all these places where you can work and earn, get exposure to a new area, be almost like a full-time tourist. So you had day off, you get to explore a bit, and the other half of the year, you get to pick up and go wherever you want. You can even alternate 1 month in the United States, 1 month out of the US, 1 month in the US, 1 month out, using the same exact strategy. And if you keep your expenses low, you're renting a room out, or you're renting an affordable apartment, a studio apartment, pre-furnished, so you're not having to worry about how am I going to store my furniture every time that you move, you have that freedom, you have that flexibility. And other people who are like in the trucking industry or Uber drivers, all of you guys have the same potential because you're able to design your schedules as it is and earn. So it's up to you to work, that double time, to put in the effort, keep your expenses low, and then you can live semi-retired half of the year. So basically, all it boils down to is you designing and architecting the life that you want for yourself. I'm showing you exactly how it's possible. I've given you many options on how you could go out there and achieve this on your own. It's really up to you to take one of these ideas and execute it. Thank you for joining me here at ENTP Life. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, like, and leave your comments in the comment section below. In fact, I want to know, where in the world would you like to live? Please leave that in the comment section below and we could have a conversation about that. If you are interested in learning a new language, use my link down below to download that free trial of Pimsleur so you can see exactly how I went about learning a new language. In fact, I'm in the process of learning Italian. I'm on day number 10. I'm going to be doing a video on that as well, showing you my progress of learning a new language, right? So go out there, learn something new, really figure out how you can reorganize your life. If you're thinking about living globally, there's no better time than now. Go out there, change your life, and thank you again for joining me here at ENTP Life. Take care.